What up, everybody? Welcome to Austin Poetry Slam. How y'all doing tonight? Pew, 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 pew. Oh yeah, I forgot. I had to get on Instagram and tell the Instagram people Yardstream doesn't like y'all. So you have beef. You got beef with them, not beef with me. What up, everybody? We're gonna give people some time to come in here. But welcome in the Austin Poetry Slam's first live stream broadcast / podcast. So thank you all so much for joining in and being engaged. We good. Let us know in the chat where you're coming from, who you're talking to us with. If you're in the replay crew, thank you so much for supporting the arts. Oh yeah, right. I'm trying to go on live stream on. This is so much. Being a business owner is so hard. Super hard. Okay. I wish I could take a picture of how ridiculous this setup looks. I look crazy. But yeah, if you are on Instagram, just know that for whatever reason, Yardstream does not like y'all. StreamYard. So you'll have to either go on our YouTube page, which is Austin Poetry. I think. Hold on. Yeah, Austin Poetry. I tried to get it changed. Yeah, Austin Poetry. Or you can go to our Facebook page, Austin Poetry Slam, or you could go to our group, which is the Austin Poetry Writers Corner. And you can see us on any of those platforms. But I'll stay on the Instagram live just in case you're like, what? I can't see the other people. Well, because they don't like y'all. I don't know. I don't know what to tell y'all. I want to introduce my co-host tonight. None other than Mr. Joe Bizzle, aka Element 615, aka he likes cash in all forms and payments, especially change.
Moolah.
Give it up for him.
Legal tender.
I don't really know.
He wants legal tender.
He would like legal tender. This is absolutely correct. And then, and last but definitely not least, the slam champs of all slam champs, your favorite poet. Please give it up for Mr. Akeem Ola.
I'm no one's favorite poet, but I appreciate you trying to gas me up as such.
Lies and fallacies. I'm gonna drink water tonight and try to stay hydrated. We have the same little water. Oh my gosh! Shout out to HEB.
Yes.
And the
shout out to Tova for going to HEB and for me lifting this from her house.
Oh, well, you know what? This is why Austin keeps me, because can't go to Dallas. They ain't got no HEB. When it's not, well, that's also a fact. That's also accurate. All right, so tonight is our first night of officially kicking off our podcast, our YouTube, all of those things. We do have a YouTube channel already. We've been having it for quite a while now. I'm pretty sure I'm the person that actually started the YouTube channel, or Danny Strike did. Danny will come on the show, I'm sure, eventually, but yeah, so we have a YouTube channel and we have 899 subscribers. One, thank you to 899 people for subscribing to our channel. We could have 0. One. Number 2, we need 1,000 subscribers to hit our YouTube monetization. We'll be like real YouTubers. So please, if you do not mind, go into our YouTube page and subscribe there. That's all I have. We're gonna go to church announcements. Anybody got some church announcements before we start?
Yes, I think you should refresh the ticker to see how many people you have now.
Yeah, in case you've gotten any new numbers.
We're at 4 right now that I see. Is it more than that?
No, I'm talking about like the people that are not following on YouTube. Could you ask them?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Um, what's this one? Hold on. Okay. Damn sure don't. LOL, no HEB here. Yeah, man. I lived in Dallas for a while. I went to UT Arlington. I partied too hard, and I had to go back home and figure out my life. And then I graduated from U of H. But boy, that was I remember I emailed. Was there email at the time? Let's say
You
there
sent
was.
an angry letter to HEB
I
saying, "How
sent
dare
an
you not
angry
be?"
letter. I did. Because they was like, oh, there's one in Waxahachie. Waxahachie?
I believe it.
I live in
What?
Arlington, baby. I'm not going out to Waxahachie for no doggone HEB. You need to put one over
Not
here.
at all.
You need to put, and then they were like, it's a Central Market. That's like, no, Central Market is not the same as HEB. You've ever been in one? They're not the same.
Mm-mm.
Not the
Central
same.
Market is very, very bourgeoisie.
I'm telling
Yes.
you. I'm telling you. They like the
Very, very
first, but they the
bourgeoisie.
original Whole Foods. So, shout out to them. Right. You told me to go look at my thing. You said that, and then I wasn't paying attention. My ADHD caught me. Instagram. If you on Instagram, you're gonna have to go to Facebook or YouTube to look at our stuff because they don't. We had 900. We had 900. What? We got 15 in the last 28 days. I love analytics. It's like the weird. I hated data. I was a teacher and I hated data. Waxahachie is not a place for us Black folks. That is true. It is not. We should not be there. That's not a fun place to be. See, they're gonna get me distracted. I can already tell. I am not gonna be able to focus while watching these.
Waxahachie is not a place for us Black folk.
Good to know. Good to know. Stay woke. Stay woke means like just keep your head on a swivel, not whatever is happening in the world.
They don't even know what it means.
They don't. Okay,
They don't
church
even know what it means
announcements.
themselves.
Before we get into the show, church announcements. Y'all got some?
Mm-hmm. I have a new book.
What?
It's called Socially Distant. You could get it from my website, akeemolaj.com, akeemolaj.com. And later on this year, I am re-releasing all of my books, giving you a second edition with an extended additional poetry and stories added to each one. So
hey, Trawan, we miss you. You should come back to Austin. He out there doing big things out there, and he was on the Black Man Smile campaign. I was like, I know that's right. We out here smiling and stuff with people.
Mm-hmm. He said he's here to stir up shit.
He is. He does. He
must be a plumber.
Oh, the dad jokes are so fun. Joe Bizzle, what's going on with you in your life?
I am celebrating the release of the second edition of my first self-published book of poetry, no title. I actually just got my copies in the mail. It's available on Amazon and from me directly should you see me in the streets or would like to cash at me for a signed copy to be delivered to you post haste. That means fast, right? Post haste. Not to be confused with post cereals, many of whom are delicious. I've had some. And that's it. Just looking forward to being of service every time. Oh, I have a show tomorrow. I have a show Friday at That Friday Flow in Killeen, one of my favorite venues, ran by a few of my favorite people.
I also have a show there. That's going to be on the 2nd of June, I believe. Let me just double check the date. Because
people, if y'all have never been to That Friday Flow in Killeen,
that's the 2nd of June that I will also be doing That Friday Flow.
Yep, you need to fix that area and go see that show. Catch both of our features. Definitely catch Akeem because he will put on, and you will be happy you came.
Now I have to put on. Fuck, I was helping
you on the spot.
God damn.
My son keeps like blasting through the door.
But these are the books that I'm talking about.
Nice. Boom. It's like a puzzle.
Mm-hmm. So it's better if you get two, so that way you can complete the picture.
Bam. Bam. You know what they call that? Good marketing. That's what that is. That's exactly what that is.
Let me see, how far back do it have to be to match? Because I literally took a picture of myself and then freaking did it. And then that was it.
Somebody said they're ready to leave here. So yeah, please cop their books. They are amazing. I'm hosting Joe B's. I think I'm hosting both, or Joe B is hosting. We're all hosting each other's stuff. So just come on out.
We host this shit.
Yeah. The only thing I really have is I run a little tiny show called Austin Poetry Slam. We are moving.
Austin Poetry Slam? That's like
What
the
is that?
oldest poetry slam in Texas.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
I would love to tell you more. Thank you so much for asking. So we are currently in a move. We are in a flux right now. Normally we would have a show every week, but things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we are moving to, drumroll please. We are moving to Barrel of Laughs, which is inside, located at the Mueller. If you hear all that yelling in the background, that's my son.
He's having a barrel of laughs.
He's having a barrel, not barrel of laughs. It's called Barrel of Fun. I keep calling it Barrel of Laughs because that's the idiom. That's the saying. He's being dragged away now. So we are moving to Wednesdays at Barrel of Fun. I was trying to do this. Boom.
Ooh,
Boom.
it's a scream.
Is it doing it? Oh, there it is. Okay, so
Use
yeah.
the fancy.
Ooh. So we're moving to Barrel of Fun, which is inside the Alamo Draft House in Mueller. So if you don't know where Mueller is, just look up Alamo Draft House Mueller, Mullere. Yeah, we are super, super excited, man. The first Wednesday of the month will be the new slam, which basically you do a new poem. Everybody has to do a new poem in the first round. Second round and third round, if you still have new poems, then you'll get an extra point. We're going to tell you about the flag rule that we just thought of today. We are an order of chaos, and we hope that you enjoy it as such.
The moon, see what happened? The moon went into an apex, and it was at the most high spot in the sky, and we thought we must do something to fuck it up.
And Jupiter is in Gatorade.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
What are y'all?
And Mercury's in Powerade. And Mercury's in Powerade.
So anyway, our first feature is going to be KB Brookings. If you have not heard of them, they're an amazing spoken word artist, poet, just came out with a book. And we are one of their first stops on premiering their work. So please come out, go to austinpoetry.com for information. Put up YouTube live. I mean, not YouTube, Instagram live. There's a lot going on here. Again, if you have not heard, you would have to go to YouTube or Facebook or our Facebook page in order to see our live stream where you see all of our beautiful guests tonight. Or you could be here and just see the side of my face. Hey, I'm just here to please you. I do.
It's a lovely profile, love.
I'm trying. I shaved my neck and everything for y'all. So just know I did a lot for y'all today.
It's given forever. It's given melanated, never faded. It's giving you're welcome. It's giving you're welcome. Huh?
Hello.
What?
It's given resurrected every morning.
Yeah.
I resurrect, and then I come back.
She woke up today. She woke
up. Anyway, so because this is our inaugural show, I want us to just get into why we got into this. So Austin Poetry Slam has been around for over 30 years. I've been in the game for, I keep saying 10 years, but I just don't be adding years with it. So it's like 10 years plus. Like I started in 08, made a team in 09, and I was on Neo Soul team in 2009. Then I was on the Austin Poetry Slam team in 2010. What else did I do after that? Oh, then I left. I left the stage for like 2 years to finish college. I moved to Houston, got my degree, and then I got back to Austin as fast as I could in 2012. And then I just started working at Austin Poetry Slam. You know, moving chairs, doing all kinds of stuff, things that my body cannot do and will not do ever again. And yeah, then I got into leadership, and now it's is it wait what's I don't I'm not mathing well. 2008 to now, how many years is that? 28.
That would be 15, if I'm correct.
That's 15 years. But I'm really the babe of this section, and I said 15 years. So I'm gonna let my brother, the one who got me into poetry in the first place, who we worked at a place. We can't talk about the place, but we worked there, and it was legal.
That's all you need to know.
And that's all you need to know.
That's all. Let me tell you.
And so I'm gonna let him, Joe Bizzle, talk about how he got into this thing, and then he can talk about whatever else he wants.
I have done poetry since I was a kid. Spoken word for almost 30 years, and slam for about 20. I just love reaching people, and big on community. So whatever you see me doing on stage, I'll do even more off stage. I love to be of service, and I love the family that I received as a result of the time I've spent in this craft. And I look forward to the family I'll receive in the future. But it's been pretty fun so far.
Him not telling the whole thing. That's why we don't even let you talk about yourself. Because just humble beginnings, just me, not really doing too much else. We just anyway. So since Joe B not gonna tell it because he irritating. Okay. Joe B was on one of the first teams in Texas to be on a final stage. Okay. The first Neo Soul team was at 2006, the infamous. That shall go down. 2006 Neo Soul Poetry Slam team that made it final stage, they first year out. So that's the stock that we're coming from. And I can tell you and attest to you, 99% of the poets in Austin, Texas that started after 2006 have some, for whatever reason, while we here, is connected to Joe B. Joe B is the community. He's the community. What's the called? Power out. Yeah. Yeah.
I said Phantom Menace because he's like in the Sith darkness right now, glowing.
Yes, I'm poetry blackout for real.
He's glowing like Palpatine in the hologram. Like, hey.
I'm on a secret channel.
Meeting, we are getting Joe B some light. If you could just move a little bit closer to the stage, that would be beautiful.
Move closer to the light.
Just move.
Might be a little bit more. I need to bring the ceiling. Let me tell you, I keep forgetting to put a new bulb in the ceiling. I only got one bulb. I feel like I'm running from the law right now.
God. You got to be. You gotta be.
Okay, so 06 Poetry Slam team, 07 Poetry Slam team. Started Spoken and Heard an ongoing open mic in Austin, Texas, held at Kickbook Coffee, where I'll be having the book release for my book for my book. Which book do you ask? This book.
Which book are you talking about?
The second edition of No Title.
The second edition of No Title.
And so I started it for 10 years, gave it to my co-host, let them run with it, and it's still running. It's crazy as it is. 4 year, no. I'll be fair. If it was 4 years, they'd still be alive, but it was their loss. I'm the 3-year director for the Austin International Poetry Festival. But
come on now,
get in.
We gonna talk about that one day. One day, when the muzzle comes off of, when the confidentiality clause goes off.
I'll just say, if I had to sum up my 3 years. I'll say I got to shake Nikki Giovanni's hand. I got to hug Nikki Giovanni. I can say that, but I won't really go into that whole thing. That's a whole.
I listen to Nikki Giovanni talk about why sharks eat white people, and I never left me. It's never left me. Never left me. Okay, before we go in rabbit hole ourselves, please, Akeem, please introduce how you got into this whole, because you was a part of the youth. Use a little different than the rest of us. We would not.
Yes. I started poetry. Oh, she switched me to the spotlight. I'm like, God damn, I'm large.
Blow it up.
You don't even understand. I'm learning so much right now.
So I started writing poetry when I was in the 8th grade. I was in honors class, but I was actually supposed to be in gifted, but I was being lazy, and I got sent to honors. Got done with the semester like 9 weeks before it ended, and I was just doing nothing. So I just started writing poetry on the whim, and then somebody read it. I was like, "Hey, this is pretty good." And I was like, "Okay, I'll write another one." And then I wrote another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. Went to an open mic at St. Mary's Academy in New Orleans, and a poet by the name of Karama Sadaka saw me and 2 other individuals, one by the name of Brittany Polk and one who is a friend of mine that passed away, Nicole Fox. And then he was like, "Hey, I want to come to your school and see like what other poets." Oh, also Siffin Silv was there too. Can't forget Siffin. And then from there, he was like, "Yeah, have you ever heard of Poetry Slam?" We was like, "What the fuck is that? What is the Poetry Slam? What is that thing?"
And then we got slam poems. I need to know.
And then we got started with that. We had a school-wide Poetry Slam. We made a CD of it and distributed that CD throughout the city. And then it increased awareness of spoken word poetry altogether. I started having a radio show, like a spot on the local radio show for poets to come in and like compete, like you freestyle battling, but you battling with poetry for a prize. They started doing a whole lot of stuff. We started to open up our school slams to the entire city, and that's actually how I met one of my very, very, very long friends, Tariana Tink Ball. She came to one of our youth poetry slams, and she won that joint. In dramatic fashion, because no one knew who she was, and she's Tank, but we call her Tank, but you know she comes so humbly packaged. That's the best way to put it. And she was like, at that point in time, she was like extremely shy. I don't think people realize how shy Tank actually is in real life. But she was actually shy, and people was like, "What's your name?" And she'd be like, "Tariana." Just like very, very shy. And then from there, I went to Brave New Voices. Then I took a break, started doing adult slams in 2008. I started doing adult slams in 2008. That's when I met the other members of Team Snow, Catalyst, Icon, Squad Called Crest, and the lovely Chicandria Icon Sifley Sice. And then 2 years after that, in 2010, we decided to start our own team between us 5 called Team Snow. And we decided to go to nationals. And then from there, our first 3 times going to nationals, we won the title each time. We won the group piece title in 2010, and we won the entire thing the next 2 times we attended the Poetry Slam, which was in 2000. We didn't go 2011. Who knows if we would have won then, but we got one in 2010. We took a break 2011. Then we won 12 and we won 13. And that's when I took a break because I was like, I'm tired. Boots. But then I came back 2015, started slamming again. One thing I really wanted is I wanted an IRIPS title. So that's what kind of made me come back. I felt like I had these other 2 big national titles and I didn't have an IRIPS title. So I was like, I'm going to see if I could win IRIPS. So in 2015 is when I actually entered IRIPS and took it seriously that time. Like, because I went to IRIPS before, but I was just fucking around. And then on my 6th try at IRIPS, that's when I finally won IRIPS. And that was in 2019.
Perseverance.
So from 2000.
Sometimes that's what you need.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like when I first got started, I like lucked up not lucked up, because Tova specifically told me in 2013 when I was getting my 3rd one, this is not luck.
It can't be a fluke, bro.
She was like,
it's
this
shit
cannot be a fucking fluke at this point.
And you did it it would be different if, so like, so if you've never been to a National Poetry Slam, it's basically like the top, it's like 78 teams, but like ideally only 30 teams are really trying to win. Only like 30 viable teams, right? And if you come one year and you're groupies finals, you come another year and y'all took a break and you had different people on the team, right? And it's not like because you are so amazing in the magic of you, like you're not a magical black Negro, right? But you were able to coach them in a way where you brought out enough to have them be so successful. And I think a lot of people don't know is like, you could be an amazing coach, but if you're a terrible strategist, like your team is going to lose every time. You know what I mean? So you did a really great job of placing poems where they needed to be. And, even though slam is a crapshoot, like you were able to figure out the crapshoot, like, and you did it 3 times. So again, it's not a fluke. Like, one day you're going to be, we gonna sell it through Austin Poetry Slam, 1-on-1 masterclass by Akeem Olaj. We get 20% because we represent him, and yeah, that's what we gonna do. This is such an amazing swell of talent on this live stream, and if you have questions out there on the internet, questions for us 3 about Poetry Slam or about poetry in general, just give us a comment, and if yours gets picked, then we might pick yours, right? What was I gonna say? So the question for the group is, what almost made you quit? What almost made you quit? And you can take that in context of, like, don't go like, I quit life, because all of us, I'm sure, attempted to do that at some point. I'm just done. I want to check out. But like specifically slam, what made you like say, nah, I'm good. I'm good on the slam for a while.
When I won IRIPS is when I honestly stopped. Like, IRIPS was the last time I truly memorized a poem for a slam. And I've been in slams after that, and I've done new poems, but the poems I memorized, it wasn't because it was the slam. I memorized these poems because I was on tour with these poems. And it just so happened that I was in the slam. I'm like, well, see how this poem, does in the slam, since I began good responses for it from the college students that I've been in front of. So the last time I've actually like was serious and was like, okay, after the slam, gotta coach, gotta practice. Okay, I'm practicing in the morning, practicing in the evening. I'm going to all these open mics in all these different cities, seeing what hits here. The crowd looks here, doing computer metric. Like I was serious with it in 2019 to a ridiculous degree. Um, that's that. I'm not doing that no more.
I don't
No
have
more.
that. I don't
Don't
think I
have it
had
in
the
me.
capacity.
Don't
I don't
have
think
it
I
in
had
me.
that capacity when I was slamming to be that intense. But I definitely don't have it now. I'm like, I barely want to host, and that was my favorite part.
Yeah.
I like
I
hosting.
I ran across books the other day with like strategies of like groupings of different poems and different 1 minutes and different 2 minutes. It's just like I was trying. I was really trying to win. I was really trying, but I was trying to win by writing poems that was not supposed to technically be in slam in a way. I guess to prove a point that my type of poetry could win to, and not just one particular type of poem. Because I'm like my poems are you kind of have to listen to them. They're not really in your face. I'm not going to be on the mic. I'm not about to be screaming at you. That's not what's about to happen. I'm going to project. That's about it.
And there was so much yelling. Back in the day, there was so much yelling.
It was so much yelling, yo.
You remember when Charlotte? That's all I would be like. Oh, they're the yelling slam. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But when you actually got to listen to their poetry after you get past the yelling, the poetry was beautiful. And then after a while, credit to Slam Charlotte, because they was getting a lot of critique about them yelling, and then as a collective, they actually toned down. And then I think that when the last National Poetry Slam we had, because of it, because that was doing ultra complex poems and performing them immaculately, from what I could tell. So, like, whole props to them. They're the only 3-time National Poetry Slam champions ever. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to them. And then, I mean, it is something to be said about, like, the South wasn't really taken serious for a long time in the Poetry Slam community, which is weird because Austin, because APS is one of the original. If you watch like Slam Planet, which Lord knows who has that, probably Taz has that somewhere, or I don't know where those things are at this point. There's one that Mike Henry did. Shout out to Mike Henry, who is one of the original curators of the show, Austin Poetry Slam. He's the first person that gave me a shot at hosting. I never hosted before, and he was like, "Yeah, sure." And he was doing everything by himself. Like you remember when he would like score keep, time, hosting, keeping and doing the door, and I was like, "There's no way." So thank God technology has evolved with us. He was like doing scores by hand. I'm sure some of that stuff is not correct if we looked at like some of those scores. But yeah, what
about y'all? What made you stop, Tova?
Oh man, I think the only time. So I came into APS a little weird. I really was like craving and needing home and grounding myself in the city in a way that I wasn't before, even though I grew up here in Austin. And I found the poetry community, and for them, I was moving too fast into the community because it was very like that. This is one of the main reasons why we are not like that anymore. It was very like close ranks if a new person comes in, and what are you doing here and why are you here? And then when Jomar and I got into leadership, we was like, we don't want anyone else to feel that way. And so we hope that we do a better job of like making community feel inclusive. Because it just wasn't at the time. And to be fair, you had two highly competitive teams here. And that played a factor in that. They had a reputation. They wanted to, uphold that. So there were just people that just like didn't care for me when I first got into the slam. And it didn't bother me, but it was also like I could be doing something else. Like poetry is not, I love it. I love it. Clearly I've dedicated 15 years of my life to it, but not enough for my sanity. and I was at it was before one of Brian's infamous poetry house parties, which maybe we'll talk. Joby put his head down
That's a
instantly.
whole episode by
Yo,
itself.
that's a whole episode by itself. We talk about them poetry house parties was epic. I remember
Listen.
okay, I'm gonna rabbit hole. Uh, that's my code word. If I go too far down, just go rabbit, and then I'll be like, okay. Ah, ah, ah,
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was at Borders, looking at books and crying because I was like, there's a community that I love so much, but there are some people that just make it very uncomfortable to be in. And
Right.
for whatever reason, Joby called me, not Joby, B Friend, shout out to B Friend. B Friend called me. And if you know anything about B Friend, aka Brian Francis, I don't know that him and phones really have a relationship we could call healthy. I don't know if he's ever used the phone sometimes. He still calls a remote channel selector. So when he called me, I thought that somebody died. I was like, oh, okay, we have to get geared for another, because we just had Shannon Lee's funeral, and that's like literally when I came. The night that
I actually met
night
Shannon
that
Lee at my first B&B. My first B&B bout
Yeah,
was against
shout out
Shannon
to-
Lee.
shout out to Shannon
And
Lee,
Austin.
rest in love, rest in power, Shannon Lee, rest in power, Sheila, her mom as well, and so yeah, like the first thing that I went to, I mean, I guess it felt weird for them, but like for Black culture, the funeral is not the end, it's the beginning. And for me, my friends literally were all in pain, and I was like, I'll support you at a funeral. And when I tell you, this church, it's a St. Andrew's, it's up in the hills in 360.
Way out there.
Way out there. It is the most immaculate, the most beautiful, peaceful place ever in my life. I was like, that's why y'all go to church out here. Y'all find a serenity to be godlike, and y'all keep staying. It's one of the most beautiful places. It said they were Episcopalian, which I guess is very close to, like, they have like kind of like the same kind of religious. Don't get at me. I'm sorry if you get mad. I'm just saying they feel very similar to Catholic, because I'm from Louisiana. That's what it felt like. They seem like cousins. Religious cousins. And so anyway, I forgot what I was talking about, Shannon Lee. But B Friend called me. Oh yes, I was saying, like, I thought somebody died, right? Because why would B Friend be calling me? And he was like, hey, you coming to the poetry house party? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think I will. I don't know. He's like, okay, well, I'm gonna see you when you get there. I was like, I believe I said,
That's B Friend every time. Every time.
But I don't know if I'm going. He's like, all right, baby.
Right.
All right. Just you know how to get to the house. Is some yours? Call Joby. He know how to get to the house. I said, okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So I went, because clearly I agreed to it, and I don't remember agreeing to going. And the night changed my life, and I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. They had it was a scrimmage, so they were all getting ready. This is 08. So they were all getting ready to go to nationals. So, you know, we have scrimmages. Austin is insane. We had scrimmages in Houston. We had scrimmages in Dallas. We had it in Fort Worth. Then we had the house party before we left. So it's a slam. All right. So there's a slam in Wells Branch at just somebody's house, at B Friend house at the time. Shout out to Yora. And it was like 150 people in a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath house. It was a very small house. Brian used to cater food. We had speakers. All the neighbors knew what was up.
So where was the stage?
The living room.
The living room.
The living room.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest night I remember seeing there, we had it was the first year he had a house party that Southern Fried had happened, and him,
Ooh,
and 13, another poet in the crew at the time. They had all AP, and this was
Respect.
so far back. This was back when Austin Poetry Slam was at the at Egos, this dive
Ego.
bar near Congress
Ooh.
and
Not 13
Riverside.
in Nazareth.
No,
Okay.
no. A very different 13. Kimberly
Okay.
Taylor.
I was just
Yeah.
making sure. There's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many 13s.
Yeah.
So many
So we
13s.
said they went and told
Sorry.
Brian at 13
Sorry.
told everybody they could. And what we didn't know is that everybody they told everybody else. So we start the show with the first poet on the carpet at about 9:30. Nobody's shown up yet. We like, fuck it. We gonna ride with whoever's here. It's only like 20, 30 of us there. Next thing you know, a whole bunch of people come bust through the door because Brian didn't lock it. We was all like, hey! And 15, 20 more people came through the door because nobody locked the back door. Hey! We stopped counting. We stopped counting at 100, and we reached 100 by 11 o'clock. I woke up that morning and started helping getting the house together. I didn't go to sleep until Sunday evening at 9. That's how live it was.
Yeah, it was epic. So
Y'all, I have a question. Y'all never got tired of poetry? Because I would have been tired. I would have got tired. I'm not gonna lie. At a certain point,
like
I get poetry out. I'm like, yo, I got to get the.
Well, after the slam part, there's like always an open mic, and it's always the people that are way too inebriated to like realize that poetry's still going on. So like there's like a list of 30, and then like they throw your name on it again. Now, if you're on a team, yes, you are doing another poem. And B-Friend made sure that we did poems late at night because he knew that our bouts were going to be sometimes 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. So he had
We used to practice. Tifno used to practice at that time because of that.
So we used to close. He would make the team close out the night. And so we would be doing, oh my God, I remember we did, it was me, cousin Sarah, and Ebony doing the soldier poem, our rifle poem at like 11:30. Now I am an old woman and I know I go to bed early. Sarah was done, baby, and she had been already because she was already nervous. Like cousin Sarah, she was our resident white girl. But yo, she knew everything about black people, and not in like a weird, disrespectful way. Like she told me stuff about like Marcus Garvey and stuff that I wouldn't have never known. And she'd do history lessons. I was like, oh shit, this girl. So shout out to her. I mean, she made me reevaluate. Like I don't really know a lot about black people. I'm black, but I'm very novice on the history factor of it. So that's what made me go back to school. And thank God for humans like Joe B, like Danny Strack, like and Jomar Valentine, who is my blood brother. I don't care what anybody says. He might be Filipino, but he is mine. So we are. Joe B, you're not about to escape this question because you hadn't answered me yet.
Neither did you.
Oh,
I did. I almost quit that night, and then I went to the slam, and then I didn't.
Yeah,
then I had to ultimately take a pause so I could finish grad school.
Yeah.
Finish school, but yeah.
I remember when word had started getting to me about you, because you had came in the scene. Because when I met you, you were very much a shut-in. It took a while for you to even share your work with me, so it was remarkable when you came around the poets and you just automatically took to it all, like you had already been there. And a few people had actually loved it. They loved your energy. They felt it was refreshing. They felt that we had just lost Shannon and nature hates the vacuum. And here you go, like picking it up like that energy was meant to stay there. You know what I'm saying? It's like y'all both came from the same energy. And I remember Brian was remarking about you, and I just told him, I was like, well, There's a few people that got issue with her, and it upsets her, but I thought she was doing. She's like, well, okay, okay, that's cool, man, that's cool. Oh, hold on, let me call you right back. And then and that's when he got on the phone with the shoe.
Oh,
And
okay.
that was pretty much it because he couldn't stop talking about it. He couldn't
Oh
stop
man.
talking about it. I feel like for me, I almost quit until I finally understood the physics of slam. That there's
Say
no
more.
people. There's a there's a chaos to it, and the beautiful thing about chaos is that people think it's random, out of order, that it's nothing. But chaos to us as adults is like a kid looking over your shoulder while you're doing your taxes or your bills or whatever. They have no idea what's going on. They just know that you taking time away from them, whatever. They're confused, so they finish and they go play. With slam, the chaos to it, the formula seems simple. Get on stage, do a poem, be fired, get money. But the physics of the slam, in my opinion, is your performance versus the crowd's versus the judge's preference. You could be the illest poet in the universe. You could have the most fire piece, what the world has been waiting on. But if
those
that,
five particular people,
if the three in the middle,
Yeah.
if the three in the middle don't like that you remind them of someone they don't like, or they don't like the color of your shirt, or they like somebody else who competed even more, it's gonna factor into their bias. And the rest of the crowd, and that's why we say judges don't be influenced by these audience members. They are not you, audience members.
influence the judges.
Influence the judges, because
They're your representatives. The judges are your
and
representatives, audience.
and that's the physics of it. So it's like, for me,
But judges, you represent yourselves.
exactly. And so the judges, their minds will be caught up between I know what I like versus the crowd's loving it, so maybe I'm bugging, or the crowd's loving it and they don't know what they like. So it all factors into what that mind is, what number
I
that
have
mind will come up
done
with.
mental hurdles around trying to figure out what an audience wants. That's one of the main reasons why I was like, I am not built to do this long term, because I'm gonna just do poems, and whether
Right.
you like them or not, those are the people. Like, you gotta find pockets of people that don't care about, like, they want to slam because we like competing. I just like, and it gives me a chance to do poems multiple times and really work on, like, maybe I'm putting this in part of a one woman show, maybe I'm piecing it out for plays. So I need to hear it out loud, and it'll help with that. But some people, we'll get into that later, but like, some people made it be the end all be all, and I'm like, I remember Dache came to me before I made the team in 2010, and he's like, "Are you ready to kill people and spill their blood?" And I was like, "I'm just gonna do poems, guy. Like, I don't have all of that in me today. It's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday. I'm not trying to spill no blood or nothing like that. I just want to do these little poems and see what happens."
I always looked at slam as an avenue for me to get to someplace else. I never thought
Right.
that slam would be the end for me, because ever since I started winning the first national titles, doors open. The second national title, even more doors open. The third national titles, even more doors open. When I ropes, even more doors open. So that's what I was like, and I was kind of using that to be like, man, just starting to start out. I need to rent something, do something. Am I still hot? I need some confirmation. Am I rack now? Should I quit? Should I put the pen down?
And it'll make you think. What it is what staying in slam, just slam by itself without moving on to something else, will give you an addiction to relevancy. You'll think you have to come up with something fire every time. And what I've seen happen time and time again, people try to affect the physics. Like, if a poet comes in and does this is about the time something really, really bad happened to me, or something bad happened to us, the people, or life is really bad. Here we go. 3 minutes later,
the people.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. 3 minutes later. 3 minutes. 3 minutes and 10 seconds later. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Now the poet going after them now has a choice. I can either come in strong with something just as important or something just as important to me, or I could completely flip it and go with something that's strong in another direction, like funny or something like that. And they'll try to affect it. And what that does is that'll sway the crowd and that'll stir the pot for everybody else coming in behind them. And you get addicted to that. You keep trying to think you got to figure it out, and you never will. You could like you might be popular where you slamming at now, and you might be a killer, but where you're at regionally is a factor. And the real testament.
It's a micro. It's also a micro after the region. It's the people in the region that's at your bout at that particular time too.
Right.
It's like a subculture.
That notoriety factor. So it's like, if you really want to impress me as a killer in slam, then let me take you to this slam Monday night, teleport you to another slam in another part of the country another night, then another night, then another
Is your work
night.
Universal?
Right.
Is your work something that anybody could latch onto and really find connections? Because that's the whole point, you know?
I can say that about very much so about the two poets I'm online with now. And I can say that about 85% of the poets I know.
Get out of here.
I'll say 75 of the poets I know have a universal. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with everybody around. I'm gonna say 65% of the poets I know have a universal voice. Not to where like, oh, we can all come on, smile on your brother. Everybody get together. But I mean, like, no matter where you speak, it don't matter what the fuck you was into before. As soon as Toba come on, as soon as Akeem come on,
as soon as Joe B comes on.
Right. It's a paradigm shift. If you didn't already love it, it's a paradigm shift. You got to see the truth in what I'm saying, regardless of what you was into before I came on. And I remember.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say.
Okay, Joe B and then Akeem.
Joe B.
Okay, sorry. My issue for a while, I had said it out loud, but like folks say, hear me now, understand me later. I suspected that's what it was, but I remember around 07, our team, it had just seemed so strange. And I was feeling disillusionment in it all. And I remember speaking to Dashade, I had just left Paramount after a show there. And next thing you know, I see Dashade, he sees me walking, and he gives me a ride back to the crib, and we both have that same look on our faces. And that's when we knew. At that time, we both felt, and I talked to him about it later, it was like we had both quit slam that day. Not quit in the sense I will never grace a stage for a competition again, but you will never see me breaking my neck try to get on another team again. Because what I really loved more than poetry was the art as a whole. What I love is, like Mike Henry had said, there are stage poets and there are producer poets. The stage poets always got something fire ready every week. Their focus is to stay relevant, and they get up and they kill it every time. Then you have your producer poets who really, they read every once in a while, but their performance ain't inspired because they're more focused on making sure the ship stays afloat and contributing what they can, supporting other artists when possible. And you got everybody else in between.
Yeah.
And I think that the day I almost quit was the day that I finally had to sit back, gain some clarity, and realize that the physics had nothing to do with me. And in my opinion, yeah, we want that money, we want that gas money, but the real testament of slam is how you handle walking away with that score. Because that score will determine whether or not you don't come back, or whether or not you come back with an ego, assuming that whatever you say is going to be it.
Mm-hmm. My favorite thing, like
that number has humbled some people.
It has.
Yeah.
It has humbled me plenty of times too, and I had to kind of let slam go. And I think it was in 2018, after I went to IRIPS, and I was just so nervous about performing that I didn't perform well. Like that was the first time I actually I wanted it so bad that I psyched myself up. And then it was at the time where Texas Grand Slam and IRIPS was at the same time. And then I was like, you know what? I retired from caring. You know what I care about? I care about my poems, because before slam came around, I was writing poetry. I was
Right.
writing poetry for years before I even knew what a slam was. Someone had to come and
Mm-hmm.
find me, come to my school and teach me what a slam actually was in order for me to get into slam. That's not why I wrote poetry. So then I started to rediscover why I liked my poems, right? Why,
Mm.
what made me write my own poems. And then I
Right.
started to kind of not buy my own Kool-Aid, but I started to believe even the shit that I was saying. Like I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this is how I felt. The reason I wrote this wasn't to impress nobody else. Nah, this is really how I feel about this shit. I wasn't playing or like pretending to be somebody else. I was actually being very, very brutally honest, sometimes rude.
Mm.
And that was just the honest sincerity of my emotions. So I started to embody my work differently. And my relationship with my work changed. And then ironically, once that changed, that's when I went out rips the next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like that was my missing component as an individual. And then from there, I was able to put on like a one-person show and then tour 30 colleges and
Right.
do that and have that experience, which was a great experience, tiring, but
Yeah.
also very, very rewarding because I learned that through my years in slam that I've gained such a body of work that I could do multiple shows and sub out different poems and different genres and different eras of me and not get
Yeah.
tired of my work when I'm on the road. So I was like, I got off the road and like still excited. Like, yeah, that was kind of fun. I could kind of get used to that. That was like dope. But then the tiredness kicked in. I was like, oh no, I need to chill out. Maybe once every other year I could try going on tour like that because it's rough on you. It was rough on my spirit.
Yeah, it's grueling.
I was having emotional breakdowns because I was going to miss the kids' birthday and I didn't want to leave. And then my husband was like, I'm going to take your crying ass to this airport and push you out because you have a show.
Show. Yes, that contract.
Right.
We cannot do that. Yeah, man. We can do a whole episode about touring and tour life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a we'll be here forever for that one. I think that, and we appreciate y'all because we thinking of show ideas and stuff too. So
in real time.
in real time, really thought harder out for this.
But
What
now.
was
But
something
the
that-
follow the not end of what you were saying, but the follow like you quitting, me quitting Karen is when I really actually started to enjoy slam, and that's when I realized that slam is really just like an open mic because the people are judging you anyways. Like people are judging you anyways. The only difference in slam is that you have a number. It's arbitrary, so it's relative. Relative strength is my favorite term in slam because it's like it's all relative to what room you was in and who was your particular judges at that particular time.
Exactly.
If you have been in the slam, comment about your slam experience and why you got in the slam, and we can read some of them on our next show, hopefully. Okay, we are almost at an hour. I said 30 minutes. I knew that was awesome poetry for all of our events. Please pick up Akeem Elijah's new book, Socially Distant, and please go and pick up Joby's book, No Title. They both have them out released. And also Awesome Poetry Slam. We have our first volume 1, 30-day 30 poems in honor of National Poetry Month. So please go to Awesome Poetry to go pick up one. We will have some to purchase in person. And I think that's it. Anybody else has any closing announcements before we end?
Yes.
Yeah, I got my. Go ahead, Akim.
I have a show in Austin on 4/20, a show in Houston at the end of this month, and also a show in Dallas the last Friday of this month. Please stay tuned to my socials, Akeem Elijah, on everything you follow, for posters that will be flying to you at very rapid pace.
Oh yeah.
And
I have a show on the 13th with Torch Literacy. It's about birthing. You can go on our site to find that. The show on the 19th, Wednesday, is going to be KB featuring. And Joby is going to be hosting that open mic. And then the last Wednesday of the month, it'll be a slam hosted by none other than Jomar Valentine. And please go to Austin Poetry for all events coming up. We'll have flyers out and Eventbrite up very soon. Thank you.
What about you,
What do
Joe
you
B?
have?
I have on the, like I said, I got that Friday flow coming up this Friday in Killeen, Texas at the Endeavors Event Center. I am holding a book release for my book at Kickbutt Coffee, hosted by the illustrious, the amazing, the melanated and never faded illustrious Tova Charles. On the 15th at noon at Kickbutt Coffee. Come on down. On April the 20th, I am hosting the Comedy, Poetry, and Music Extravaganza, celebrating the 420 holiday, RFLMAO. I think that's the whole thing. That is. You can get
That's my
tickets
show.
That's it. And Akeem Olaj will be one of the amazing poets featured there. And you can get tickets for that over at the Flamingo Cantina's own website, with the event right there. And yeah, whatever else is coming up.
Listen, what we trying to say is we is booked and we is busy, okay? Especially in April.
Yeah.
Please come out. Please show love. Thank you again so much. We will see you on the 19th in person, but we'll be back next week, same time, same new channel. Wednesdays, 9 o'clock, Austin Poetry Slam Live. Bye.
Bye.